Are you into building your own custom home build in Canada and you don't know what to look for when it comes to framing? Understanding the framing gives you control over one of the most important part of your house. Let's dive into the fundamentals so you know exactly what to look for when you're building your house. Hi everyone, this is Harji Sidhu, civil engineer turned realtor who builds home and based out of Kitchener-Waterloo area. And I am on mission to provide one-stop solution for buying, selling and building your own house in Canada. Let's break the framing down step by step so you feel confident when building your first home in Canada. Alright, it all begins at the bottom, which is the foundation. This can be poured concrete or block foundation or ICF foundation. I have done a video on foundations. I'm also gonna provide the link in the caption. So for now, let's continue on this video. So the next is mud sill. That is a pressure treated piece of wood which sits right on top of foundation. Folks, this isn't just a piece of wood. This lumber piece essentially acts as a main moisture barrier and anchors to the foundation. If you're taking notes, write this down. Always check if your contractor is using pressure treated wood for mud sill. Using untreated wood is like putting band-aid on a flood. It won't hold up and can lead to massive repair costs. However, on the cost side, using pressure treated wood can add some dollars into your budget, possibly between $5 to $8 per linear foot of mud sill used, which is only going to add up to a couple of $100, but it's worth every penny you spend on it. Once the mud sill is secure, this is where the joists come in, basically the bones of your floor. Traditionally, solid lumber was used for joists in your floor assembly, but in modern houses, engineered I-joists are preferred because they can span for longer distances without support in between, and they can also come pre-cut for electrical or HVAC vents that can go in, hence making the construction faster and cleaner and without bulkheads in the basement. Here's something not everyone realizes. Engineered I-joists does cost more in the front end, but it will definitely make it up in the long run because you're able to get longer spans without having to support. So you have pretty much eliminated the need of a support in between, which might have needed a steel girder or a steel I-beam as well to support it, which will compensate for some of the additional cost you spent for engineered I-joists, but it'll also make your basement look better with less bulkheads for those supports to go in. On the cost side, engineered I-joists can cost you about $3 to $4 per square foot extra for the entire house build. Understanding these additional costs and the benefit will definitely help you budget better. Now let's talk about the walls. The walls are framed with studs. The vertical members spaced at 16 inches on center commonly. Whether you use 2x4 or 2x6 for framing does depend on whether the wall is load bearing or non-load bearing. If the wall is load bearing, then it is going to be most likely 2x6 framing, and if it's non-load bearing, then you can get away with 2x4 framing. 2x4 framing is mostly done for interior walls which are non-load bearing. Here's the energy efficiency tip that I have for you. Opting for 2x6 framing can help you put more insulation in your frames because you have more space to put the insulation down there, thus resulting in higher R value of your house and would lead to your house being more efficient and can lead to up to 20% savings in your energy bills. So on the cost side, it is going to cost you some additional money, but it is definitely going to be worth every penny extra that you spent. So now moving on to the next is doors and windows. So basically installing doors and windows, we are creating an opening which would need to be reinforced. So the first thing we do is provide headers. Headers goes on top of the opening and does distribute the load from top of the opening to the sides to the studs. Without properly installed headers, you can often see sagging or warping over time, which isn't just eyesoring. It can also lead to a structural issue in future. So, have you ever noticed a door that won't open or a window which looks crooked? Most of the time, it is a header issue. A small but crucial part of your framing, if done wrong, can throw off your entire wall's alignment. Supporting the headers are jack studs, which make sure everything stays level. And below windows, we install sill, giving a stable base to the windows. Each of these components provide strength and stability to your framing, and also make sure that you do not run into those issues I told you earlier. The door that is not opening or a crooked window. Typically, headers add $300 to $500 per opening, and at times you are tempted, but now you know the risk of trying to save money on the header. Now onto the roof. The roof can be built with traditional rafters, which are angled joists forming the slope of the roof. These meet at a ridge board at the top, but these days many builders prefer to use roof trusses. Roof trusses are pre-engineered, prefabricated in a shop and shipped at site all at one time, thus making it way efficient to install. Here's the cool fact: using roof trusses instead of rafters for roof support not only saves you material and time, but it also opens up a lot more spaces to you, because you don't have to support it the way you have to support the rafters, because roof trusses are stronger in terms of strength. Roof trusses offer more stability, can get you longer span without supporting them, thus removing some of the interior load-bearing walls and also giving the architect more flexibility about the layout of the house. Roof trusses can cost you more upfront, but it is definitely worth the money spending on it, because it not also helps you save some materials, but it also gives you more freedom in terms of your floor plan design, and at times it helps the architect open more spaces for you. Once the walls, floors and roofs are framed, it is time for sheathing. So, what is sheathing? Sheathing is basically a plywood or a OSB sheet which is installed on the outside of your framing. Sheathing basically acts as a skeleton system of your house and prevents the house from any shear, and it keeps all the framing together and helps preventing any racking or twisting in the framing. So if you've ever been in a house in which you hear draft or you hear creaking, poor sheathing might be the culprit. Good sheathing provides the house stability and gives you a very well insulated house. Think of sheathing as a final wrap that keeps everything together, and it is a one last critical step before moving on to the insulation, interior walls and interior finishes. And that's a wrap to framing basics. So basically we have covered from foundation to mud sill to walls, window openings, and then on to the roofing and sheathing. Basically all of these pieces becomes a very important piece of framing, and hopefully I was able to give you some value, and now you know what to look for in framing when you're building your own custom house. If you found this video helpful, please do give me a like and subscribe this channel. And if you're wanting to buy your own custom home in Southern Ontario, comment down below. Our team will reach out to you, and hopefully we can help you build your own dream house. Thank you.